Good evening. This is the Fellaz Sports Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm happy.
Now let's get this started. So,
All right.
I wanted to ask you, I know you've been watching and seeing how many injuries has taken place over this last week and a half.
Bruh. Bruh.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense. And you know what was crazy about all of this stuff? Like, because we were talking a couple weeks back, about injuries and how we're talking about like guys like Tom Brady and LeBron James take care so much of their bodies. And
Yeah.
then he happens to be one of those cats that goes
Dude,
down. Like,
we
you know what I mean?
jinxed
I'm
him.
like,
You're saying
what?
we jinxed him?
I ain't saying we did anything. I'm just I'm just saying it's crazy how we were, Mr. Million plus dollar man on his body ends up being one of the guys in this crazy week of,
Yeah.
of injuries, from Curry landing on his back, on his tailbone,
Bro.
LeBron twisting his ankle to like, you know what I mean?
Bro.
It's just like, dang, like what's going on? And then LaMelo, like, you know what I mean?
LaMelo.
Like,
Yep. Out of nowhere,
man.
man. Even James Harden almost broke his neck.
Yeah,
Bro.
he's been playing with a crazy stiff neck and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But like,
man. Like, dude, it's been crazy. I don't think I've seen a period in time where like players, like especially stars, have gone down just like that. Like that this was just, yeah, I was shocked just to see. Every day it was just something new. I feel
yeah,
bad for a couple, like I feel bad for LaMelo.
true. That is a fact.
Um,
He's the
yeah.
one ball brother I was actually rooting for. I'm
Oh,
not
that's
even gonna
messed
lie.
up. That's messed up, man. I
I'm
didn't.
not gonna lie. It's not that the other ones aren't good. They're definitely
No.
good. They're
Okay.
NBA, but it's just I don't know. There was just something about Lamelo that I paid a little more attention to than
Okay.
I did with Lonzo. Like, you know what I mean?
I
And
get
the
you.
other one, whatever his name is, one of
D'Angelo.
the L's. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So
Nah.
I don't know. It's just I don't know.
And
Maybe felt like it'd be more interesting.
so I feel you in a way. Like he's been the ball brother with like the most like aura or something about him. Like he's
Hmm.
been just the most showman and even most NBA ready. I'll give him that.
Hmm.
But we're going this way, but we varied a little because I'm a big fan of all the Ball brothers. I think that LiAngelo is getting a raw deal. Like I think he should have been at least gotten a real shot with an NBA team.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that. Who knows if he'd actually really make a squad, but he hasn't gotten a real shot. People have just teams just put him on their roster, whether summer league or whether you know what I mean, just training
Yeah.
camp, just to say, you know what I mean. But he hasn't. They haven't really given him a shot, in my opinion. Now Lonzo, I think that he's in running for most underrated player. He does not get the credit he deserves, to be honest. Between him averaging his first year, let's say his first season, he was
Hmm.
averaging like 10, 6, and 6 or something like that. For a rookie, that's pretty good.
Pretty
Okay?
dang good if you ask me. My opinion.
Exactly. But that's what
So
I'm saying. And leave it up to everybody else, he was a flop. Now coming to this year, he's averaging 14, I don't know, not 8 or something. Still really good numbers, but you hardly hear anything about him. The most I've heard about him is because of trades. But
mhm.
definitely LaMelo, though, I agree with you. He came in balling out of control, doing his thing. He took over. Like he knew his skill level, and he was not going to let anybody change his train of thought. He came in.
And I think that's why I follow him, pay attention more to his ball career,
Okay, yeah.
unintended, um, than the other brothers. Like
Yeah. No, it
again,
makes sense.
that's just for me.
And that's why I feels bad for him though, to be honest, man, because he was balling out, man. And even you know what is dope though? You saw his heart. He still tried ending the game with his. He was
Yeah.
playing with that left hand, trying to do everything passing. I was like, all right, that's what's up. And he was definitely in my opinion, it was pretty much a lock that he'd be winning Rookie of the Year.
Oh, for sure, hands down. I don't see anybody else remotely close. Again, so much
And
so that I
until
can't even name another guy. Like,
well,
what's his
now
name?
Edward.
Edwards. Yeah,
Yeah,
but but
Ant-Man.
still.
I know, but he's had 40-point games. He's starting to come on. And that's what sucks right now because
It would have been
LaMelo
great if they
can't
were both playing.
exactly, and now he can't even fight back. So it's like everybody, I guarantee you, is gonna be like, "What have you done for me lately?" vibe.
Hmm.
So Edwards might win, but everyone kind of knows that it was LaMelo's to lose or injury taking it away. So, question to you though:
Hmm.
do you think a player playing half the season can win, let's say, a Rookie of the Year?
What's the circumstances behind half the season? Are we talking
Like an
injury?
injury, yeah, an injury. Like specifically Lamelo, the way he was playing, leading the all rookies in scoring, rebounds, assists. So that good, but it pretty much half the season, a little more, but you know, pretty much
Do I
half.
think that they could win it? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna go as far as it depends on how deep the true competition is.
Okay.
So if it was a battle between him, Edwards, and the next character, and they're all averaging similar numbers, and
Mm.
unfortunately this injury happened, and these guys continue along the same path, then no,
Yeah.
because there's two other guys who are playing or performing at that level or higher before after
Yeah.
his injury.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if it's a landslide where he's the number one consensus and the next guy next to him is averaging like 3 points per game,
Okay. Yeah.
I hate to
Exactly.
say it, but it's like, listen, bro, you didn't really do much. This guy did
Mm.
more before he got injured than you did
Yeah.
your entire season. My vote is going to go to that guy because in my mind, it's like, had he been healthy,
Mm.
he would have continued along the same path. You played your full season, and that's the path you stayed at.
Okay. No, I feel you on that. I
So
feel you on that. Um,
So it's a
the,
toss up for me. I can't
I
truly answer that because it's really based on those two situations.
yeah, and that's actually it. It's a good point. Like I can't even fight that, but it just really sucks because it wasn't like he was far ahead in my opinion, like a full head, but not like a 29-3.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
still like a 29 and let's say a 20. So it's
But
enough
even
for him.
20 is still good. Like, you know what I mean? So
No,
it's
but it's
like,
good. But 29. It's
yeah.
as long as he doesn't flop for the rest of the, he's gonna win.
Hmm.
But now there's no chance of him fighting back. So there's a good chance he lost it, and that's what kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you now. So because again, a bunch of injuries happening.
Hmm.
Joel Embiid, um, LeBron, like the two front runners for MVP, are out right now, and LeBron's pretty much going to be out about 3 weeks to a month, which is a good maybe about 8, 9, 10, 15 games. I don't even know how long, but since it's all condensed. So who do you think right now, knowing that they're both of them are going to be missing an extended amount of time, who do you think right now is front runner MVP?
As long as he doesn't miss another, I say max week of games, I'm going to stick back to Harden. I have to go back to Harden mainly because you clearly see the
Mm,
difference. Okay, so Kyrie's out for personal reasons,
yeah,
and Durant is doing his recovery as well. Yeah,
yeah.
they just picked up Blake, but let's be honest, Blake isn't Blake of old.
No, he's a
He's gonna
shell. He's
he's gonna
definitely a
he's,
shell of
he's gonna
himself.
be a good supporting cast to this team. He's not
Definitely, I agree.
right, but you see that one game he just sat out, they got blown out by 30, bro.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're
What he
right.
sat
You're
one
right.
game for rest and he got blown out by 30. It just goes to show the impact that he has. That when he plays, they could have still lost that game, but it wouldn't have been by 30.
Yeah,
For
I
all we
get
know,
you.
that 30 points they lost by would have been the 30 he drops. Hypotheticals, we don't know because he wasn't in the game. But
Yeah,
I think the way the level of ball he's playing at, which is a good type of ball because he's actually passing,
yeah.
you know what I mean, more than he's done or that I can recall in the last few years.
Well, yeah.
He's
He.
playing
I,
leadership ball
I was about to
while
say. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want
yeah,
to say it's not that he's necessarily passing more. It's that he's actually making smart passes. He's making game-winning passes, not
true,
just stat
true.
stuffing passes.
Hmm.
So I just wanted because he's led the league in assists before, but we all know it was just empty calories, bro. He was passing it, but it was just for his numbers. Now it's actually to win games. He's getting the team involved to win games. So I just wanted to say that. But
That's all good, and that's why I still think that as of right now, especially with these injuries, I think he's definitely now a front runner because he has been carrying the team since he got there.
Yeah.
Whether the two other stars played or not, it's still been the Harden show. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be Harden's team just yet because it's still Kyrie's team because he was there first, but
Yeah.
he has the Harden show, and I'm gonna go with him right now.
See, that's the thing. Damn you, man. Damn you. Because when we had this conversation, I was like, nah, bruh. Ain't gonna happen, bruh. Nah, bruh. And then a week later, I'm just like, yeah. You were right. You're right. I believe now is definitely James Harden to lose. Whether knock
For
on wood,
sure.
no injury or anything else that we don't see. He's playing that good, and especially if those other players don't come back within a good
Reasonable
reasonable
time,
amount of time,
yeah.
it's definitely James Harden to win. It's just that again, it was difficult for me to give him that credit because of the team, but we've seen now, even without those players, how he's still dominating, and there's nobody really in front of him, in my opinion, other than the two guys that are out right now. So unless let's say Lakers are doing horrible, which they are, until LeBron comes back, and then once he comes back, they do an amazing flurry again. Then I could see it still inching back, but even then, it would be extremely close. But I'm just saying that's the only way I could see them being like, okay, you guys lost 8 out of 14, and now he comes back. You guys are 18-3. Then it just be like, okay, I could see them giving him the
The
nod again.
numbers speak for themselves at that point.
Yeah. So, but other than that, yeah, I think it's James Harden's to lose right now, and he deserves it at least. He's totally changed his game. He's yeah, he deserves it, and I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but he does deserve it.
But I mean, while we're talking about Harden and his new change of scenery,
Mm.
today was trade deadline,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's been some movement, and of course we're going to start north of the border.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is: are you actually surprised that Lowry wasn't moved?
Okay. The thing is, I would have been surprised because I was thinking leading up to the trade deadline, I was thinking there's no way they're not going to move him. There's no way they're not going to move him. But then when I had enough time to look into it, not too many people have the pieces to give up for him. They don't have the money, the cap room to get him. So at that point, it's like, which team can really get him? Like, that's willing to. Because think about it, the Lakers, because they were saying today the Lakers were trying, but with the Lakers, they'd have to pretty much take a bunch of their players away just to make up to 30 million. Same thing with Philly. They'd have to lose a bunch of players. Nobody's willing to empty out their bench or their point guard and bench. Just don't get me wrong, Lowry is a dope player and he's really good. He got the heart, and I think he can help a team get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not, in my opinion, and no disrespect, good enough to make a team have no depth. To take away a team's depth, he's good enough to get a team over the hump, but not good enough to blindly, like let's say Golden State or their team, regardless, their starting five was always strong enough, even though sometimes their bench wasn't. They just have to keep one of their starters on to weather a storm.
Mm-hmm.
Larry is not good enough to have a weak bench and keep him on with a bunch of weak players. And therefore, it was really limited on the teams that I'm sure that he would even want it to go to, because it would have to be one of those bottom feeder teams that could actually afford him and didn't mind. And I'm sure this is the latter part of his career. He does not
Mm-hmm.
want that. I'm sure he wants to be at least with a contender. Whether he wins or lose, he wants to be somewhere that is going to at least be fighting for a championship. So how about you? Were you shocked?
Actually, yes, I was.
Okay.
Mainly because there's always that business aspect of, you know, if you trade him now, at least you'll be getting pieces in return.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the business side. But then there's you can keep him, and at the end of the year, he might bounce for nothing. He might stay for 2 years because his whole thing is regardless of where he goes, he wants to sign for another 2 years. Was it $50 million, something like that?
Like 56 or something like that. Yeah,
Listen,
55 or 56.
It's a whole lot more money than I have personally. So
Yeah.
you go get your money, Larry. But I'm just saying, like, so to see now, watching the trade deadline, I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a notification that Larry's been traded, and then at the end of the day, they decide not to trade him. I was actually surprised. Like, I don't want to see him go, but I would understand if he did end up being traded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with that, I'm like, okay, cool. So if they didn't get rid of Larry, that's possibly a good sign. And then they got rid of Norman.
That's what had me shocked. I wasn't shocked about the Lowry because, again, not only because I just went off a whole tangent about the 30 million, but he also wants a security of 2 years. And again, at his age, 35, he just turned today. No team is thinking about they might sign him for 2 years, but at 56
not
million.
At 56 million, yeah.
And that's one of their hangups too as well. They don't want to, they're thinking about their future. So, but even past that, Norman, I was shocked.
Yes. Super shocked.
That's the one that I was actually shocked.
And I know his name was in the talks, like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, but look at your team now, like, and especially the way he's playing now, like, do you really want to make that move? Because that could be, he could literally be that turnaround piece that they just won the other day, but maybe that was going to be a continuing trend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy's been a good ball player. He's always been a good ball player. And now he's shining. Like, now he's taking that moment to shine, and he's shining.
Yeah.
And now they got rid of him. Like, for me, I was like, man, get rid of your bench, dog. Get rid of, like, Terrence Davis and those guys. Like, you know what I mean? Go try to get some other stragglers. You get rid of Norman Powell. And on top of that, they picked up, what's his face? Gary Trent and Rodney Hood.
Yeah. Both solid players. Solid players, mind you.
But what bothers me right now is that Rodney Hood isn't the same Rodney Hood as in the previous years.
Yeah, like years before he went to Cleveland years.
You know what I mean? So it's like, the name means something, but it's not the same caliber of ball player that he was. And right now, Gary Trent is in kind of the same boat in terms of the year he's having with that Powell's having. He's having a great year, but we don't know what's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
So I kind of see that trade as a loss, in my opinion. I don't see it as a bonus right now. I'm looking at it from what I see in terms of the players and what I know, in my opinion, of these players. Listen, these two guys might come and they might help, which is always what you want when you get new guys on your team. I just feel that keeping Norman Powell, in my opinion, might have been a better aspect. That's just what I'm thinking. They made their other trades that they did, which I'm okay with, because they weren't doing much for the team anyways, and they're still kind of trying to help secure a future by getting these draft picks. So I'm okay with that. It's just I'm still a little shocked about Norman going. I didn't want to see either him or Lowry leave, but right now, given the age he's at and the caliber of ball he's playing, I really didn't want Norman to leave. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. I fully agree with you. The thing is, Gary Trent, again, the problem is I find that he's, like I said, I just don't find he's actually even been as consistent as Norman. I find Norman's been consistent because Norman is the type of player that plays off a hustle. Like, he could be having a bad game, a good game, it doesn't matter. He's going to try to get a rebound. He's going to try to play lockdown defense. He's going to find other ways to help the team. And then if his shot starts falling, that's even better. Any team is lucky to have him. And don't get me wrong, those guys are skilled too. I'm not knocking Gary Trent or Rodney Hood. But all I'm saying is as far as bodies, just bodies, I think it was a good trade. But the intangibles, like the type of player you want on your team, you don't give up on Norman Powell. Like, that's the type of guy that will energize the team, that's going to do all the little things to try to get you the win. So I was kind of shocked with that. And again, those players are dope. I just didn't find, like I said, Gary Trent, like you said, he's been having a good season, but I still didn't find it was as consistent as I find, because that's like I'm just repeating myself again, but with Norman Powell, even when he's having a bad game, no one could say that he's not giving it his all. You know, like he's playing
He's still diving. He's still hustling.
exactly.
He's
You
still
know,
trying to get his piece, even if one part of his game is off. Like
exactly,
he's not a quitter. At the end of the day, he's
exactly.
not a quitter.
And that's why, man. But no, it was. I don't know. I don't even want to say it was a good trade, but they got some bodies. They got bodies, and they at least have, I guess, more depth, more skill in at school, more skill depth. So that might work out a bit for them, but I don't know, man.
Listen, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks because we're not going to see a dramatic turnaround in the next game. So we'll see
Exactly.
how the chemistry works out with these new guys. And like I said, I hope for the best. I hope that any way you look at it, whether they kept Powell or now that they have these guys, let's hope that the team itself has a nice little turnaround and can kind of boost themselves back up into the standings to become a playoff bound team. Because if they continue on this trend of winning one every 10 games,
exactly.
you know what I mean? They're going to be right back at where we were, almost 10, 15 years ago? Like, you know what I mean? We ain't trying to go through all that again to wait another 15, 20 years for a next championship. So
exactly. Aaron Gordon.
It's funny you bring him up because his trade is a little more different than the other guys in the sense that he wanted out.
He definitely wanted out. He definitely
he wanted out. And before we get even on just talking about him, like Orlando was like, cool, we're gonna get rid of you and half our squad because they was just moving people left, right, and center, bro.
Like, total rebuild, bro. Total rebuild.
Tanking. This is one way to tank. Although we're not supposed to use the word tank because no team is allowed to tank anymore. Like, you know what I mean? But Aaron, the trade. What do you make of it?
He wanted out. I'm pretty sure he didn't want to go to Denver. It was Denver, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he didn't want to go to Denver. But I think that's still good for him though. Between him, Jamal Murray, Jokic. It's Jokic, right?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I'm pronouncing it right. It might be Jokic. But no.
Jokic.
I'm playing around. I don't know. I'm just
tomato.
No. But between him, Jamal Murray, and Jokic, that could be something serious.
Especially if he falls on board. If he falls on board into the system of working with these two guys, and it could definitely be something to look out for. Dude. Maybe not necessarily this year because again, there's still the chemistry that needs to be built.
Yeah.
But if these guys stay together by next year and they really work at it, you're right, man.
Dude, he gives them some needed athleticism. Don't get me wrong. They have quality players, and even Jamal Murray will surprise you sometimes. But they don't have a 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" big guy that could jump out of a gym. They don't have that. Now put that with a very slow Jokic, but extremely skilled, and Jamal Murray that's a sharpshooter and extremely skilled. That could be a team for the future. They're all young guys. Offensively, I think they can actually make some noise.
I think so too. A lot of people that I know. I was at work today when I was like, that's such a stupid trade. Why would he want to go to Denver? And I'm like, well, you have to look at Denver's squad. Like, the Denver has that. They have two guys, and now you add a third piece, and it's not like Aaron Gordon's a slouch. Like I said,
not at all.
He's a baller. He's here to play, and he said he's athletic.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that a lot of teams always need is that one guy who's athletic, especially standing at 6'8", 6'9".
Exactly.
Come on,
dude. And he's a big guy. And the thing is, I think that's one of the main reasons he wanted to leave Orlando, because I don't think he felt like they were really using him properly. It's always seemed like they didn't actually have set plays for him. It would be, give him the ball, try to create or grab a rebound or do something, but it wasn't like he was the franchise player, even though he was, I guess. But it wasn't that they treated him as the franchise player.
I didn't see him as a franchise player, and we knew he was a franchise player.
And that's why. So I think he wanted to go somewhere that they're actually an organization that actually knows how to, or a coach maybe, I don't know what, but that knows how to build a team and know that whether Jokic, Jamal Murray, whether he's the third in the pecking order, at least it's going to be a consistent third of give him the ball, make some plays for him, get him into the game, and at least he'll know his role rather than picking up scraps. The trade I was surprised by Vujicic.
Yes.
That's what I was surprised with. to
Again,
Chicago.
but they were just giving away everybody.
Yeah, yeah, I was really surprised. I
That's
don't see why they would give him away. Like I don't. He's their only all-star.
tank, tanking. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it's the only logical reason. Okay, you got
yeah,
rid of Aaron. That's one piece. Now you
yeah,
have your other guys, and maybe we'll see if we can have a subpar bottom of the draft pick or
yeah,
top of the draft pick, and then we work from there. But then you went and got rid of it. It's like Vujacic is like, no, now. There's no way you can't say they're not tanking.
yeah. No, I was shocked though. I was really shocked. But he's a beast. Chicago's gonna look pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be pretty dope to watch. I was just hoping, which I heard they were trying to get Lonzo Ball. Excuse me. I heard they were trying to get Lonzo Ball, which I think that would have been a dope squad, especially now if they have Vujacic and they get Lonzo Ball to run that point, like because he'll be a restricted free agent this summer. So they
Mm-hmm.
were probably like, you know what, we'll get Vujacic now during trade and just wait and try to get him once the market opens up. Um,
That with Levine.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And Laurie Markkinen,
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, that is a solid team right there. That's why I'm saying, like, right now, just those three, Vujacic, Levine, and Marketing, is a solid, nice team.
Yes,
Now,
it
if
is.
you could add Lonzo Ball this summer, have a real point guard, giving them the dude, that'll be interesting to watch. And the thing is, again, with Vujacic, he is one of those players again playing, I guess, in the Orlando system. He doesn't need real plays for him. He's like literally getting a 20 and 10 off of just rebounds, like scrappy plays, and just creating his own shots. So it's gonna be nice.
Working with the
Yeah,
system.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And having Levine's gonna be loving having just another player on his team.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have to do anything. He's like averaging 28 this year, and no one
Yeah.
hears about it. Like he's
Nope.
dude killing it. He's like 42% from 3 point. Um, I don't
And
know, and
it's
yeah,
crazy because there's a lot of players who are just who are playing amazing basketball and
yeah,
just you're not hearing much about them because there's other storylines and that's
exactly.
going on right now. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and they're
Damn you,
not playing for,
COVID.
and they're not playing for like good teams. That's the thing.
True.
Chicago is okay,
It,
but
it, they're not
yeah,
the Bulls of yesteryears that we grew
exactly.
up to. Like, you know what I
But
mean?
now
So,
it's looking like they're trying to get better now. It's not like, let's say, Orlando that's going to seem like they're tanking. They're trying to get these players. So now
mhm.
that they got Vuya, and then if they could get, because what's the name? Lonzo wants out, and I don't blame him. I don't know if
Oh
he's been
no.
paying attention, but they've pretty much taken the ball out of his hand between Zion, Ingram, Bledsoe. Uh, Dude, he gets no love. And he's again having a career year for himself. He
Hmm.
was one of the most talked about on trade market because he's playing that good, but he's getting pretty much scraps. When it comes down to crunch time or fourth quarter, they pretty much ice him out, take the ball out of his hands, and I'm sure he wants to run the show. Like he knows, I'm assuming he
How
can.
to? Yeah.
So I'm positive he's gonna be bouncing. And plus they didn't re-sign him because again, he's a restricted free agent. They had the option to extend his contract, but they didn't meet on the terms or the money. So that
Hmm.
alone, I'm sure he's like, I can't wait until the team wants to pay me. I'm out, bro. So it's gonna be interesting to watch this summer.
All right, so I got another trade question for you because this one actually had me like, really? Like this one really happened? Rondo for Lou
Yeah.
Will.
Huh? Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I was like, why?
Which one? Which one don't you know about?
I, I mean, he wasn't doing much on the Hawks. I get it.
Yeah,
And I understand his playoff experience. We all know playoff Rondo is
real thing.
a real thing. It's
Yeah,
not it's not an urban legend. It's
exactly.
real. We've seen it. Season Rondo and playoff Rondo is literally two different people.
100%.
But I feel that Lou Will, even though he is getting up there in age, is still contributable. He's still a great, solid player off the bench.
Yeah.
So what was the real justification in making the trade is what I really want to know. So I'm asking you, what do you make of this trade? Because I really can't figure it out. To me, it's like I get Rondo, but
Hmm.
why move Lou?
Um, the thing is, I think they really wanted, no disrespect again, because this comes off as harsh. I think they really wanted to move Patrick Beverly, except nobody really wants him.
Hmm.
They no need for him really. He's doesn't play offense and his body's shutting down on him. His defense isn't what it used to be either. So no team really wants him. Now, since they can't move him, they know they need a real point guard, like somebody that's gonna, you know, pretty much control the team. Lou Will, amazing talent, but he hasn't been the same since Paul George and Kawhi's gotten there. For some reason, his game has not been the same. Which I'm sure they still wanted to keep him because they know who he is, man. He's a big shot. He does what
Hmm.
he does. So I can't knock his skill. But now, since his game has changed, they've, remember, Clippers been wanting Rondo. They wanted him since this year, like since he was a free agent, like
Hmm.
the last year actually, since he was a free agent, and they couldn't get to him. So now they have a chance to get him. Plus, Lou Will ain't playing, and Lou Will needs to go into, I guess, another team that's gonna give him the love of just, hey, do what you got to do.
Take the
And
ball and go.
The
Okay, I can
Hawks
see
is
that.
that team. So I'm sure he's happy about that trade too, because the Clippers were not running it the way they used to, which actually, like, when that second unit comes in, that's your time. Now, when that second unit comes in, sometimes they'll be playing him with Paul George or playing him with Kawhi at the same time, where he still doesn't get to have it as his team. So yeah, I think that's why. I think it was actually a good trade, just
Hmm.
because they got who they wanted. Clippers got who they wanted, and I think Lou Will is actually, plus he's from Atlanta, right? So he's going back home to play, and I'm sure he's gonna be contributing crazy because he's gonna be leading that bench, killing them.
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, bring a different light to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, oh, Oladipo's on the move again.
Yeah. I feel bad for him.
I do too. It's just
Yeah,
like I don't want to call him a journeyman because I mean, he's not a
he's
journeyman yet,
becoming
but
now.
he's
He's
big, yeah. And it's
but
like
yeah,
people are like, it's almost like they're not putting respect on his name anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
all right, well, listen, I got this guy Oladipo. You guys
Mhm.
want him? Like,
It's injury prone. That's literally what derailed his career. Because when he was with the Pacers before that bad injury, he was balling out,
for sure.
superstar level, and then again injury. So it's like, I just feel bad for him. I know I'm repeating it, but it's just
I
like,
do too, man.
damn, bro. Like, but
Yeah.
hopefully the Heat are. It's still, the Heat's a good team.
If they are.
You know what I mean? They're a good team. It's
And and
just,
and, and I don't want to bring it back up, but if Lowry were to get traded, that's actually the team I would have preferred him go to.
the Heat.
Yeah, Butler and Bam Adebayo, bro.
Yeah,
Especially with the way Lowry can distribute the ball
yeah.
and Bam coming up like that. Why not? I think that'd be a nice tangible
See, that's a good one.
starting three.
They all have the same mindset set, so I think that would have been dope. A bunch of guys that are just gonna go out and get there, put their bodies on their line, and 100%. I think that would be a good fit, perfect fit. But I would have preferred him go to like the Clippers. I think he would run that show. Then I think that they would have a hard,
A
like the
legit
Lakers
chance
would
of
have a
winning.
hard time. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
because when you have a player like Larry that is gonna do his best to win, like he's a real floor general. Like, so I think that would have been good a good pickup for the Clippers if they could afford him. But yeah, no. Yeah,
Oladipo.
Oladipo though, bro. Again,
Let's hope for the best,
hopefully,
man. I hope
hopefully.
exactly.
But to be honest, he's in a position to excel. Like they're still looking, in my opinion, for consistency from the 1-2 spot. So that's kind of the position he'll be playing. So I think if if he's still the same, because he's
Mhm.
only been on Houston, um, which has been not good.
Nope.
So it's difficult to judge somebody when they're on horrible teams. So if he's still the same, he'll be a good fit if, as long as they allow him to play his game. If not, then he's gonna look like he did when he was with the Thunder.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
yeah.
So,
But you've been following the madness.
well, I think what I said held true. I don't know if you remember when I said there's gonna be a bunch of upsets this year, because there's going to be a bunch of these small schools that are used to having nobody in the crowd. It'll be perfect for them. But even past that, I think I only thought of this after. I think the reason why there's so many upsets is because, again, with these small schools, they have a lot of second year, third year players. Players that aren't, their whole goal was to play college. They didn't necessarily think they were going to the NBA. So when you get teams like Kentucky and whomsoever that don't even make it, they're they don't they're not necessarily strong enough minded to go through this again. Not to put hate on Paul George, but Paul George was mentally having a breakdown, not able to deal with this. Now you're putting these kids pretty much in a bubble, expecting them to be able to deal with this, and they're not able to. But then these dudes that are in and around 21, 22, that's played a couple of years, kind of grown men, they're going to excel in these harder situations. That's at least what I think. That it's due to the fact that they have a lot of older players on a lot of these teams that are mentally able to go through these trying times.
Yeah, because I've been watching some of these games, and you sit there and like what really was going through my mind was, like you said, there's no fans.
Exactly.
So these smaller schools or lesser known schools who don't play in front of 25, 35,000 people crowd are basically going into a gym that they consider empty and playing a regular game. And now it's like, I mean, it's still a show. You're still on the stage to get the ultimate goal, which is the NCAA championship. But that pressure of having the opposing team's fans in a building where you will barely have any of your own fans, considering how small you are, is not there, works more in their favor. It's almost like they have that sixth man without having the sixth man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I'm like watching these games, I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
It's just like the madness. Like, I have 3 brackets because I'm in this pool. They're definitely busted. Listen, I don't think in the last every years I've never had a bracket busted in the first round.
I think the majority of the world has the bracket busted.
You know what I mean?
So yeah.
But overall, I'm still doing pretty good. But there's just some teams where I would figured would be
this
further
year
along that aren't.
Yeah. Like, this year is crazy, bro. No.
It's really that bubble factor it's a real thing.
And that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. A lot of these players aren't used to, even when they're away from their families and stuff, they're still used to familiar faces or people that are being able to travel with them and stuff. Like, it's still, they're away from everything now. And like I said, these older players, I think, are just a little more mentally able to. And that's what a lot of these smaller schools have, like, 3-year players. If you're in a big school, it's rare, like, that you get a 3-year player. You might get 1 or 2 on a team each year. So all I'm saying is that I was not shocked that there was so many upsets, because I kind of planned for it. I knew that it was gonna happen.
But listen, I was expecting some, but I just didn't think we would. I didn't think it'd be to where it is right now. Like, I still got, out of 2 out of my 3, I still got Gonzaga taking.
That's what I was about to say.
I still got Gonzaga taking out of 2 out of the 3 of my brackets. I think the other one, I still think I still had Baylor in the other one.
Yeah.
But I'm just, Gonzaga. Again, it's up for anybody to grab, 100%. Especially at this current rate. So.
But no, Gonzaga is the real deal. Hopefully, again, they don't, like, Jalen Suggs, the real deal. They got a bunch of players that are a real deal. It's just Jalen Suggs. I've been watching him since high school, and that dude is a beast, man. I can't wait till he makes it to the NBA pretty much next year. And a sick quarterback too. Like, he's both. He's an amazing athlete. Even you don't really, some of his highlights during the college season you saw, but if you go back and watch his high school highlights,
Hmm.
yeah, man, he's a beast. But no, they're the real deal, man. Yeah, I still have Gonzaga to win it all. I still have Gonzaga to win it all.
Like I said, I got 2 out of 3 on that one. You always gotta do one where you switch it up. And even on my what I like to call my busted bracket, where I just
Yeah,
started like I randomly picked. Like I wasn't trying to be like analytical about it. I was like,
yeah,
what, let's just take them for this one, this one, this one.
yeah.
And
You still,
any which way you look at it, it's still
yeah,
came out the same way. I'm like, damn it. Like, so I said for this one I'll take that's why I ended up taking Baylor, because if not I would have just taken Gonzaga for all three.
yeah. No,
And
no,
then,
it's
who
good
knows?
to, you know what I mean, change it up a bit,
Because
just for at least
in
one.
that bracket, I had more upsets in the first round, and then after that, I knocked out those upsets. You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah,
usually
how
for
it
the
goes.
most part how it
Yeah,
goes. There's
exactly.
upset, that hype goes into the second game, and that magic they had the first game isn't necessarily there, except for this year, where
Yeah,
anything is literally anything goes. This
anything
year.
goes, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to this weekend, man. All I know is Gonzaga better. Look, that's the thing. Like you just said, all respect to the smaller schools if they do, win it. I just don't like it. Like I don't want. The thing is that I don't want anything to make me feel as though it wasn't a real season. And basically, if it's a bunch of unknowns playing in the finals, I'm gonna be like, nah, this ain't real, man. This ain't real. And I've already was feeling that way when I saw Kentucky and Duke. I was just like, this joint ain't real, bro.
Yeah,
So
but that's stories to tell in the future. It's like, you remember that year, the NCAA tournament, when that little known team, that small farm town of middle of nowhere USA won the whole thing, and they were like
yeah,
a 15 seed. Yeah, that was crazy, right? Like it's still a story to tell.
hey
Like, you know what I
man, I ain't
mean?
gonna be telling that story. I was like, remember that throwaway season that they just picked a bunch of water boys up and let them play for the championship? That's how I would tell that story, bro. It was
Dang, you cold. You can't give nobody there. You can't give nobody their respect. You gotta put some respect on that small school name.
bruh, no, no, no. I don't mind if it's again a real season when there's not so many upsets. Like if it was just one upset, you know what I mean? Then I'd be like, and that just one team just do.
Kept going
Like let's
through.
say when I know this is far back, but when Davidson was making their run,
Yeah.
that was a solid run where I was like, yo, I want them to win the championship. Like this one is just like there's like 30 teams, like all no names. Like it's like you're like going like I heard
I've
no, I
never
never heard of that.
I've never heard of these guys before. Like,
So
what kind of
it
school name is Oral Roberts? Like, that's weird.
exactly, bro. Like I'm pretty sure that's just someone's house. That somebody just wrote down their address. But no.
I think it's a prank. That's what I think it is. Like, that's not your real name. Like, you don't go to a school
Oral,
called Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts, like that. Somebody's messing around. Somebody's messing around. But no, so all I'm saying is I'm being harsh, but I'm being kind of serious. Like it doesn't feel 100% real. Just like the NBA championship didn't feel 100% real. Like yes, Lakers won, but it was. And just a side
Crystal
note,
ball, man.
I exactly. And just side note, I hate the play-in aspect. People are liking the idea. It sounds stupid. Yo, if you make it, you make it. Don't make some 9, 10 seed play 7 and 8 and see. Come on, that's nonsense, bro. Like, if you have a
Why
good
switch it up?
season, dude, I don't know, man. They're always trying to tweak stuff. And if you have a good season, you have a good season. And that alone bothered me last year with this. So
They're
now
doing it
I'm
again this year.
and that's what I'm saying. And it's just going to make me feel like this is nonsense, bro. Also, what helped me feel like nonsense was the fact that Toronto didn't play in Toronto this year.
That
That
too.
that bothered me as well. It's like you guys need to figure it out. I know, I understand the problems that would go through, but how can you expect a team to really play when they're always at an away game? Like that's not
Basically.
fair to them. Like every other team has actual home games, going home, going to their stadium. But you got this team out of nowhere, and they're trying to act as though this is normal life to them.
And I think above more than any other team in the NBA, and I'm not knocking fans of other teams because there's diehard fans everywhere, but I find for Toronto, based especially when you look at their home away records in the last year, like when they're home, they're virtually unbeatable. And
Exactly.
again, it goes back to that six-man factor. It's not that guy coming off the bench; it's the
Yeah.
fans in the crowd. Like, you know what I mean? In the
Exactly.
stands, that they're the ones who are bringing that extra hype. Like, you know
Mm.
what I mean? So it's like now you took that away,
Mhm.
and because I'm listen, let's be real. If we were playing under normal circumstances with the team they had before these trades, and they were playing in Toronto,
Yeah.
I think their record would be reversed.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I
And
mean?
but
So it's just like,
even if it was like no people in the stands, but they'd still be able to get that love when they're going home, when they're watching their news stations, when they're just it's just the love you get being at home. And
mhm,
you're asking these guys to play a full season
in
away,
Florida.
and you're expecting them to have the same outcome as these other teams. I'm just saying it's not fully fair. I'm not saying that life is fair. All I'm just saying is that ain't fair. That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
You feel
Listen,
me?
the Blue Jays got to do the same thing for baseball. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Exactly. But that's
at least in hockey, there's enough Canadian teams where they're able to do a North Division, so they can play across
exactly,
Canada. Like, I mean, they're not going to the States, but they can play across Canada. But
exactly.
we're not that fortunate in basketball. We're not that fortunate in baseball to say that we have enough teams in
Yeah.
Canada that they can play in the North Division.
No, you're
But
right. No, you're 100% right, and I get the concept why they have to do it.
no,
All
I
I'm
get it
saying
too.
is it
It
ain't
does suck
fair.
though.
That's all. Like you're asking these people to be away from everything for like a whole year. So yeah, not cool, bro. But
Get
what
that
can you do?
vaccine in, yo.
Interesting, interesting. I feel you. I feel you. Don't ask LeBron about it.
Oh, his ankle is so screwed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, actually, speaking of the ankle injury itself, how did you feel that it was a dirty play or not?
I don't think it was. I think it was all unintentional.
Yeah,
It's one of those hard plays in basketball that there was an unfortunate result which landed in his ankle being caught up in it.
yeah. The
I just
ankle
don't
sprain.
feel based on what I've watched it, the way I've myself have tried to break it down, I just don't see where he had actual intent to injure, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't think it was a dirty play at
Okay.
all.
And I agree with you 100%. I don't think it was a dirty play too. I think it was actually a cheap shot to call it a dirty play.
Of course,
Um,
you know there's always gonna be those naysayers. It's LeBron James. You know?
exactly. So that kind of bothered me, but no, he was hustling for it. Was it a smart play? No.
No,
That's
definitely
the thing.
not. I'm
It
not
wasn't a
saying it was a
smart
smart
play,
play,
but it
but it
wasn't a
wasn't a
dirty
dirty
play.
play.
That,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, speaking about LeBron getting kicked in the nuts, um, Draymond Green, Draymond Green said he's the
This
best
clown.
defender of all
This clown.
time. How do you feel about that?
What time?
Uh,
What?
bedtime?
What?
I don't
I want to know
know.
what time he feels he is the greatest defender of, because I don't know if he knows this, but
Mhm.
he is not the first NBA player to play in the NBA,
Mm.
and there's been a smorgasbord of
Ooh,
players
that's
before him.
right. I
And I know
got
I
you.
said
I
that. I
got
had to
you.
take my time when I was like, say it proper,
Yeah.
smorgasbord. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
smorgasbord. So that's how I said it. You know,
Aim for
I delivered
execution, bro. I got
it.
you.
So for him to sit there and call himself the greatest defender of
Mm.
all time, that's blasphemy, bro. You can say that you're
Oh,
one of the great defenders,
yeah,
but the greatest? Oh
yeah.
hell no, bro.
My man called it
Hell
blasphemy, yo. My
no,
man.
come on. Like, listen, there's one thing to toot your own horn,
Mm.
but relax.
I-
Let's relax. I'm not saying he's
mm.
not a good or a great
Yeah,
defender, but
the
he's not the
greatest.
greatest
I
defender
got you.
of all time. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay,
Like,
and I feel you on that. I'm not even knocking it because I agree with you. I hate to say it because I'm a Draymond Green fan,
mhm.
but I fully agree with you. He's a dope defender. I think he's an underrated defender, to be honest. But he's definitely not the greatest defender. But I think he said that just to maybe be in people's minds. Whether they agree or not, they're gonna talk about it. Whether they
For
agree or
sure, we're
not, they're
doing it.
gonna watch you. They're gonna be like, okay, well, he is a dope defender. He's just not, but at least you're in the conversation now of the greatest. Like, so even when we're gonna talk about 50 players before him, we're gonna always remember him because he put his name in it. So I understand where he was going with it and why he actually even did it. But no. He's tripping. He's tripping on that one, man. No, you're definitely not the greatest defender of all time, bro.
He needs
Um,
to just, slow down a little, stick
yeah,
to his great defense and just
yeah.
let let the people decide
Mhm.
if he is the greatest defender of all time. But branding yourself that,
He kind
it's
of
gonna
got
take
to though. I don't blame him for having to because when you're a polarizing person or have a polarizing personality like Draymond Green, you are
super
not
polarizing.
going to get the respect you deserve. Whether he deserved to be the greatest or not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you're not going to. He doesn't. When you look at it, when you talk about Golden State, like you don't really bring him up. Like you do, like and they got Draymond Green, and then they say, what is he averaging a triple single? He's always disrespected. Nobody even brings up the defensive part. You get so I don't blame him for having to toot his own horn just to
No,
get the love that because everyone finds a way to hate on him. He just and don't get me wrong, a lot of it is his fault. Like he brings a lot of it on himself, but at the other, I don't find he always gets the credit he deserves as well. He definitely pretty much running that team. You don't really hear, when they were losing, when they had nobody on their squad last year, he was
mm,
getting all the hate. Again,
for sure.
triple
Triple
single,
singles,
not doing
yeah.
nothing. Who is he? He's not the old player he used to be. But he legit had a bunch of like 13-year-olds on his team, and he's not even. It was so all I'm saying is I get where he's going. All of that to just say I get it, don't agree, but he does have to keep his name relevant and get people to at least respect what he brings to the table.
Just talk about him. That's literally
So.
the end game. Is just to get people talking about him again. And again,
Exactly.
it's Draymond. He's gonna find a way. He found it. This
Exactly.
topic and conversation will die down,
Mhm.
and there's gonna be something else that's gonna come up where next he's gonna say he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. Who knows what Draymond's gonna do? But he's gonna find a way to bring up his name again, and we're gonna be talking about him.
Just think
And
about it.
I'm not knocking it. Like, you know what I mean? It's one way to get things done. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just it was one way, one hell of a way to get people talking. Like, you know what I
But
mean?
just think about the timing. Like last weekish, Steph Curry goes down. He knows the team is just about to go this way. So he's like, yo, let me just remind them that I might not score a lot, but I'm gonna play defense. Like, watch that. So I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going with it, man. Sucks that freak accident for Steph Curry. Tailbone.
Okay, so I watched. I was watching the game,
Yeah.
and when I first saw it happen, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that hurts. He gonna bounce
Mhm.
back." And then I watched it in slow motion.
Yeah.
You felt the pain when you watched that in slow
How his
motion.
body like you saw like
He's falling back. He's like, they use like it's like you could tell that point of impact, and his body's like,
yeah.
oh, oh.
Yeah.
Like when you go try to pick up that bag and your bag, and you just pull it in your bag. Like, oh.
That was
Bro, I was just
definitely
like, dang. I was like, oh snap. Like, you know what I mean? It just, I'm not trying to laugh at it because I know it hurts,
it
but the walk,
definitely.
like the way he was walking
Dude, he
after, I'm
was
like,
he definitely looked like an old man. Yeah, he definitely was just like, yo, help me up, help me up.
I was like, hey, like I was like, shoot, and I'm surprised. Maybe it's just me not always on the interwebs paying attention to other people,
Mhm.
but I'm surprised that that whole like when he was walking didn't become like a meme, like you know what I mean? Because I figured it would have.
Yeah, we need to holler at the people in charge of memes, man. They say slipping.
Because
They're slipping.
like
Definitely.
I was like,
But
dang, I'm like, oh, poor him, man. Because now not only is he in pain, but they're gonna the interwebs is gonna win again, and I ain't seen it. Again, maybe that's just
oh no,
me.
I haven't
Maybe
seen
I haven't
either, but
seen
I'm
it,
sure it's
but
gonna come. I'm sure it's gonna come, and we're gonna be extremely surprised. There'll be a hilarious. So I'm positive it's gonna come. Now that you said it, I'm positive. But I just I
yeah,
expected a lot sooner. Like as soon as it happened, you know how it used to
and
be. You
that's
know,
exactly how it used to be.
yeah, internet
But
slipping.
yeah, but yeah, that just it that looked like it hurt like a mother. Or I was like, ugh.
Definitely, definitely. Nah,
Nothing
but
worse than seeing someone get hurt. You feel it. You ain't even there.
dude, so many, so many. That's how I felt about the Paul George injury. That's how
I
I.
can't. I still can't even watch that.
That's what I'm
I
saying. The
can't.
Sean Livingston injury, one of the worst injuries I've seen,
Yeah.
bro. Whew. There's
I've
quite
seen
a
a
few.
similar one happen here too, like that with Sean
Mm,
Livingston with the whole. Well, I seen that. It was,
that's what I'm saying. Those,
okay.
bro. Yeah, those when you feel them, bro. It's like, gosh. So yeah. Long story short, yeah, it really sucks though. I think Steph Curry was going. Well, I'm not sure when he's gonna be back, but
I
they
think
were
last I saw, they're talking about maybe another week, or he's going to
oh,
be reevaluated in a week.
okay, because as long as he's not out too long, they could
So they'll
still
be
make a
okay.
push for it. But it's about whether they're gonna try because Steve Kerr is actually taking the. Listen, we don't have our full team here yet, so I don't want to force him. He still has another couple years on his contract, another year at least on his contract. We might wait until Klay Thompson comes back to actually give it a real push because they don't want to really burn him out just to make the playoffs and lose in the first round and then
Hmm.
him get injured. So
Hmm.
that's why. But I do want to see him just put them in the playoffs just so that all the naysayers could shut their mouths.
Well, bro,
But
they've got Draymond Green, the greatest defender of all
big
time.
facts,
So
bro.
as long as Curry's able to, put up 50, 70 points a game and
Yeah,
Draymond's there to do the rest, I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
like 71 points a game. That would be a 71, 70 from Steph, one from Draymond. Like, they combined for a 71-point game.
I'm
That's
just
no,
saying.
yeah,
Anything like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. I'm just
yeah.
saying, greatest defender of all time, put up a shut up at this point.
Nah, that's my guy, man. Like I said, I ain't holding against him.
Listen, I
Plus,
like I like Draymond as well. Like
yeah,
I like it because it's his attitude and demeanor is just it's real and it's also entertaining. It's real entertaining.
yeah,
But he's passionate about what he says and what he does in terms of playing the game. So that's
100%.
one of the reasons why like
Yeah.
I respect him. It's just I still find it funny that he feels he's the greatest defender of all time. So
No,
I will make my jokes.
no,
Sorry, Draymond,
100%.
you
No,
don't
no,
like it?
no,
Eh,
no.
don't
It's
care.
definitely it was not it wasn't a realistic statement, but I respect it if he believes it. That's it. If he believes it, I respect it. But no, you're not. You're not. But if you believe it, hey man, that's why I think he was a 32nd pick or something. That's why you could be like the 32nd pick and be a 3-time, you know what I mean? Champion. Um,
Averaging triple singles, bro.
Man,
That's the
see,
new
we're
number,
gonna
man.
just keep calling it. We're gonna keep calling them out. I got you. I got you.
I'm just saying triple singles. If you can average triple singles in an NBA career, I think that guy should be an MVP.
If you could
That's a hard
average,
feat.
wait. What's a hard feat is if you could average a triple single and still make it to the Hall of Fame, which he is on his way. That's what's crazy
Bro,
about it. You got to give it credit.
I'm saying triple singles is hard to do. So and to
Mm,
make making the Hall of Fame is even harder. So it's
that's
like
what I'm
you can do
saying,
that. Yeah,
and
man.
he's definitely on the verge. So,
I've got a new challenge for all you NBA potentials or
mm,
current NBA players off the bench. Average that triple single and make the Hall of Fame. If you do that, I ain't got nothing to give you, but that will be a feat.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Be be the worst player you can be. So yeah, I feel.
Need to ask you a question because honestly, it's so stupid. But you heard about the ref in hockey in the NHL who just got fired?
No, what happened? What happened?
So he got what they call hot mic. So basically, during the hockey game, he called what if you see it too a bogus penalty against I believe it was the Predators,
I got you.
and you can hear him say to the other ref along the lines of, I was like, oh, I wanted to get a call against them early in the game, but there's explicitives in what he says.
Wow.
It's being recorded. Like you're being recorded
Wow.
saying this that you
Yeah.
like your whole purpose was to make sure you slap them with a penalty early on in the game. Like, bro, that's
Wow.
you're not supposed to do that. Like, like who for one, who does that? Two, who does that while they're mic'd up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like this guy is a young first year NHLer trying to be like, listen, guys, I'm the rep, I'm inserting my dominance. This guy's been in the league for like what, 16 plus years.
Yeah.
Done NHL playoff games. He's done this and the third, and Now you're being caught on say, I gotta get them. You let them know what's good. Like, yo, guy, come on, man. Like, it was such a bonehead play. Like,
That
if
definitely, wow.
anything, like this is where them guys on like Charlemagne and them whatnot should be
Mhm.
calling that donkey of the day, because that was a donkey of the day move. Bro. I'm just like, yo, I saw that and I was dying. I was like, yo, you have to be some kind of a dumb
I agree, but I think
to
that
do
is
something like that.
so dope. I'm so happy that that happened because it gives at least some truth to how many times as fans, right? Or even when I know you used to play sports, and when I play, when we play sports, or as fans, at the end of the day, you know when a ref has something against you, or you know when a ref has something against a player on the team, and they give, like, let's say in basketball, when they give them a T for no reason, a tech for no reason, and they're just, you know what I mean? They're just like, yo, man, that's a bad caller. You're just like, bro. So this gives some credence to the argument,
Yeah,
you
I see
know?
where you're going.
So I'm happy that they caught that. So now it's like when they start reviewing these calls, which they do, there's gonna be some accountability. It's gonna be some like, yo, this dude had a vendetta and we caught him. So you guys better be on your A game and not trying to pull these stunts. That's what they need in the NBA, bro. I don't know if you've seen. It's been some horrible calls, some horrible ejections, some horrible technicals going on with the NBA. They need to rein that in general this season. So
Like,
it,
who is it that got tossed earlier on this season for throwing the ball aggressively to the ref, but when you really
oh,
look at it, he
yeah,
literally
yeah.
just
I'm trying to
to the ball
think.
and anyways, listen, that's it's dumb,
And that's
but it's
what I'm
like
saying. And that's
I
why
get your point.
if you
And
catch one of them, if you catch one of them on a hot mic like that, I guarantee you, refs are gonna be on their toes. That's all I'm
P's and
saying.
Q's, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna be now acting right, and that's what all of these leagues need. Because no one can tell me that refs are human.
Mm-hmm.
So they have their feelings towards a player, just like us as fans or just as other players have their feelings towards them. So it's not surprising if they get the opportunity to get them back, maybe for a curse word they might have said to them. They're going to get them back. Exactly.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that penalty on Gordon as soon as he touches the ice, and or, as soon as he says hi to me, I'm hitting him with a 2 minute minor for whatever I
exactly.
feel like. And it's like, oh, bro, I understand.
Exactly.
I was dying, bro. I was like, wow,
No,
you're right.
it's horrible that that's the reality, but it's great that he got caught because it just at least shines a light on how refs can be petty, just like
Yeah, for
anybody
sure.
else. And
Oh, for sure. Even in amateur ball, I do get it. Even I play
exact,
amateur baseball in these baseball leagues, and it's like you
exactly.
get it from the refs all the time. And some refs come in there thinking they're hot stuff, and you have to understand that we're all grown men, right? Like, it, listen, not in the NBA, but where we play, it's like, listen,
Yeah.
we'll fight a ref. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
you might get
exactly.
banned from the league after, but it's like you ain't gonna talk down to me. And you're right. Like, you know,
Yeah,
there are some refs
exactly.
in various sports who have it out for certain individuals.
Exactly. And in professional
So.
sports, they can't just fight refs like that, and they're protected like behind the veil. Like if they make a bad call, they'll apologize for after the game, but after it cost somebody the game already,
Mm-hmm.
or there's no accountability again. So now at least with hockey, it shows that, hey, you guys might have a problem here, so keep a close eye. So
You know,
I think
unless you're Luka Doncic, who can go out and say I'm fouling in love with you to the female ref
yo, he
and
was
not
kicking
get any
game. My
trouble.
man said that was kicking game though, bro. I was just like, all right, bro, I feel you.
I give that man
Straight up,
a
bro.
he gets a slow clap for that. I have to give the man
I'm not
his
even a
credit
Luca
where credit's
fan,
due.
but I had to buy his jersey just because of that, bro. I'm a favorite player.
Literally.
Once again, this is the Fellas Sports Talk Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions or if you want to ask us any questions, leave it in the comment. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm nappy.
We in these streets.